Hi there, and welcome to my channel. The channel that I often say is work in progress, always evolving. With the idea of beginning to have conversations with people, just like you and I, regular people, about how we're navigating through this rather unusual time in history for human beings as we go through this evolutionary process, which some people are calling ascension. And to really kind of open up and talk about the challenges, of course, the changes that seem to need to take place, and everything else that's involved with that. So, what I want to talk about today is the idea that as humans, we really want things to be predictable. We want life to be a predictable situation. We want to know what's going to happen before it happens. We want to feel in control of our lives. And when we don't have this, when life doesn't feel very predictable and we don't feel that we have control, it's kind of a freak out time in a way, or feels like a freak out time. And what we're really talking about here is that as we're moving, which we are, our energy is moving into a different vibration. That's this whole thing about the evolutionary process and kind of moving out of this 3D where we have believed we're in control, we believe we should have a predictable life, etc. And we're discovering, at least most of us, many of us, are discovering that this has all been an illusion. And by being an illusion, it's really caused us to suffer because we have these strong beliefs that just aren't really being met very well right now as we move through these unprecedented times. So that's what I want to kind of open up to today and talk about. What is it like to have a life where we need to let go of the predictability of our life? What does that feel like? I think for most of us it can become very, very challenging because it's what makes us feel safe. We like to feel in control of our life. We want to feel that we're in control and we make decisions, and that helps us feel safe. And when we don't have that available, or when we need to start to look at, wait a minute, maybe this isn't how it really works, even though we thought it did. And why do we think it? Because we have these belief systems that have been put in place from many, many generations ago, as well as into our childhood, of this belief of how life should be or how life is, right? And now, during this shifting of vibration, during this time of needing to move into a higher vibration, we're, as a species, needing to really let go of all of these beliefs and the entire illusion of what we've been living with in order to move on. We can't move on by holding the old beliefs that no longer serve us and have never been true. But it's been the way we've lived in this illusionary process. Because when we come into this body, we forget who we are, which is spirit having a human experience, and then we more or less create this character, this false self, in order to live out this fantasy is really what it is, or live out these ideas and beliefs. And it seems like maybe that's worked for a long time. And now, for many of us, we have to have a completely different view in order to help and to participate in this time we're in. So, when we feel we're in control, then we feel safe. So it's like a domino effect. We want predictability. Predictability also feels like, okay, we're in control, and control feels like we're safe. And this is where this domino effect happens. And what we're trying to do now through this shifting and changing of this vibrational of the 3D, as we try to move, or as a species are challenged really with moving into the higher realms, is we really need to let go of all of these false beliefs, to all of these ways that we've been, that really weren't ever serving us, but somehow we had a belief they were. So it is more than challenging for many of us to really start to let go of the things, particularly that have made us feel safe. The reality, the truth is, life is uncertain. It's 100% uncertain. And there is no predictability in life. And when we really start to look at least for myself, as I've been looking at this for some time now, it's overwhelming. It can be quite terrifying many times, many situations. It can be like, oh my God. Yet, each time that I can kind of back away from some place where I'm feeling really, really scared, really feeling like I'm unsafe, really feeling like I want to believe that there is certainty, that life is not uncertain, predictability. Well, those are the times when we really need to kind of know that this is an opportunity for growth. So at the time, in the times, which is probably many times a day, where we could catch ourselves wanting this to be certain about something, wanting predictability, it's the opportunity to really back off, back away, take a deep breath, realize we are spirit having a human experience. We are the observer and the witness of whatever is going on. We're not it. We're not the emotion. We're not the circumstance. We're not the activity. We're none of it. We're the observer and the witness. And these things that are going on, the shifting and the changing and the, as we're talking about today, the uncertainty and the lack of predictability, is really saying to us, you need to let go of this false belief. Because if you continue with this false belief that you have control and life is certain, we can't move on as a species. We can't bring this old illusion with us into a higher vibrational realm. It won't work. So there is a lot right now required from us. There's a lot. And, you know, depending on how far we've dug our feet in, so to speak, to our programming, our belief system, everything that we grew up with, our culture, the different, the multiple generations that these ideas have come through, it's a big deal to think about releasing and letting go of these things because we think they're real, but they're not. We've been living in an illusion. We come into the body and we forget who we really are. And in that, then we create all these false ideas and these false beliefs, and then we start living from that place. And the more we live from that place, the more struggle we have. The truth is, if we stop feeling that we're in control, if we stop thinking that we need to be in control, life is much easier. If we stop looking for things to be predictable, life is much easier. Because we get into the flow of life. Every day is just saying, okay, life, what do you have to show me today? It's a blind trust. It's a blind trust that the universe or the source or God or whatever you want to call it, that's who is choreographing this whole thing. That's who's in control. That's how it works. We're just coming here to have an experience, right? And we have it through the body. And then we get all lost in that idea, and then we think we're the body, and we think we're all the trauma and drama in our life, and we begin to experience all the emotions and the discomforts and the fear and etc., and we're lost in la la land. What's being required of us today is to move outside of this entire story and system that has been falsely built, and to move into a higher realm where we can then have the kinds of things that really should be happening as a human species. To have kindness, to give up on these who's right and who's wrong, to get out of this duality, which has brought so much suffering for so many people who have been in this realm and having the experience. It's moving to a much better place, but we don't see that. We don't really understand that because we're so caught up in where we are. That it's very hard to imagine a completely different realm. And yet that's what is really being required of us in order to move outside of this 3D low vibrational place that we've been in for, who knows, eons? I don't know. For those of us right now that are on this planet Earth, we did come here with the purpose of really participating and helping in this process, of this evolutionary process. And so we should be able and up for this whole idea of moving beyond. But many of us probably didn't realize how challenging this was really going to be. So here we are, kind of knowing from a kind of very deep internal place that this is right, this is what has to happen, that when we look outside at the external world, we have to admit it's crazy, it's insane, it's like nothing's right out there. And this all has happened through the process of being in this lower vibration, in being in duality. And we're getting the opportunity as a human species to move outside of this. This is what anybody and everybody that is really part of this whole spiritual, if we want to call it that, realm. And more people, by the way, are coming online with this idea. And these are people that have very impressive resumes in the mainstream, what we would call the mainstream. More and more people are coming forward, beginning to understand what's really going on. So it's not just, we're us weirdos that have followed a spiritual path at all. It's scientists, it's all kinds of people that have been in the mainstream, that have been highly successful in many different realms of their life, coming on board right now to get on board with this whole idea of what do we need to do as a species to evolve to this next realm. Or are we going to become extinct? I mean, that's really what's going on. And it's a lot to take in, yes. And yet, for most of us, if we're on the planet right now, we came here to participate and make this happen. So truly a challenging time. I mean, it's a better word than challenging. I just don't know what it is right now. It's also an amazing time to be a part of this crucial plan that's in place. So the only way probably that we're going to get through this is we have to peel the onion and keep going within. And that's what happens. It's self-inquiry. We have to really be in an explorational process. We're exploring what is going on with me. It's really down to being one within ourselves, to really getting to the bottom line of all of our false beliefs and how we can come out of that as a whole. So I feel like I know this is kind of sounding maybe like I'm all over the place, because that's kind of how I feel, like I'm all over the place right now in trying to get this point across in some way that can be understandable or make sense. I think one of the toughest things that we work with in this whole process right now is the feeling that we need to be in control to feel safe, or the feeling that we need predictability to feel safe. Whereas the exact opposite is true. If we were really in control, God knows what life would be like. There's an intelligence at work here that we can't even fathom as human beings. We can't begin to understand that intelligence that is taking care of us. Yes, it's a blind trust because you can't see it. You can call it names, you can call it source, you can call it God, you can call it our guides, whatever. It's the intelligence that's taking care of us. It's the intelligence that's trying to wake us up out of this dream we're in, out of this false belief, out of the illusion, so that we can evolve to that higher realm. And we are in the midst of it right now. We're boots on the ground, right in the midst of it. And like I've said, many of us, on the planet right now came here for this purpose, to help. So I'm just doing my little part in trying to speak to what I can understand, speak to the challenges for sure, and hopefully get some conversations going on with others about what they're going through, what you're going through during this process. And when I say others, I'm really wanting to talk to just people like you and me, just everyday people, because we're the ones that are really needing to get on board with this whole process that we're in of evolution. And I believe strongly that if we can have conversations sharing the reality of what we're going through, the challenges of what we're going through, the successes or the ways that we've found to move through this, and we bring together kind of a community like this, that it's really going to help others to move through as well. And then we'll find out we're more alike than not alike. So each time I'm wanting to come on to record, I think about what it is. One, it's always what's going on with me at the moment. So, as I have begun to feel more and more of this challenge at times, I go back and forth. It's really like some moments I'm here, I get it. Yeah, we're not in control. Yeah, there's no predictability. And I begin to trust. I'm there. And then I flip-flop into something happens or a circumstance or nothing happens. And it just, I'm feeling uncomfortable. And then I'm back into that illusion. Also, our bodies are going through a lot because it is the body that's actually going through being able to handle a higher vibrational system. So the body is being changed and shifted, and that causes many things in our body. It can cause exhaustion, and it can cause aches and pains and all. I mean, it's just it's happening in different ways for different people. But that's a whole other aspect that would be a whole other video. So where I'm trying to move toward with this whole channel is to get into a deeper conversation that's really, though, we could call it, maybe it'll be on the cutting edge, I don't know, but not mess around trying to do this in such a appropriate way. I don't know what else to call it, but to get right down in the mud, get right down to the nitty gritty of, hey guys, we have got to shift these beliefs. And most of us believe that we need control to feel safe, and we need to have predictability to feel safe, and yet that is absolutely an illusion and actually doesn't make us feel safe. If anything, in fact, it makes us feel more unsafe, but we don't realize it. We suffer from it. Like I said, it's a domino effect. We get attached to outcomes of, okay, we're in control, predictability. Now I want this outcome, that outcome, and it's if we really look at it by backing away, it looks insane. It looks crazy. Like, what are you doing out there? world. What are we doing? We're acting like we're in control, and we're not. We're acting like we are having predictability, and we're not. It looks crazy, but we have to be in a place to really see the insanity of it. And what keeps us from getting there is fear. Yeah, fear of change. Fear because we've really been so immersed in the way that we thought life worked, a way that we thought we were as a human being. We're so deeply ingrained in that it's really difficult as we're coming out of this slumber, coming out of the dream. It does bring up many, many scary issues for us, or many, many, I don't know what to call, overwhelming feelings for us. It's not an easy time. Yet, if we're here on the planet right now, we're here to help. So, what I'm wanting to leave you with today, rather than keep repeating what I'm saying, sorry about that, but it's, trying different ways to make sure it's understandable or it makes sense, is that what I want to leave you with is we all are here to do the best we can. Don't judge ourselves. Be kind to ourselves. That's the other thing that's most important right now, is we really learn the art of being kind to ourselves, which helps us be kind to others. To give ourselves compassion for going through what we're going through. It takes courage right now to be where we're at in this particular place and time. So to give ourselves compassion, to a pat on the back for being so courageous, because we are all very courageous in being here right now. And to kind of see the ways that we can begin to do this self-inquiry. It's all within. It's all has to happen within each of us. It's not out in the external world that this change can take place. It cannot. So it's with trust that we go within and we discover how to undo these beliefs that no longer serve us, that are literally stored in our body. I've done videos about how we store these traumas and dramas in our body, and we need to identify those so they can be released, so this body can move into this higher realm. One thing, it is a domino effect on the level that one thing leads to another, and without doing this, we can't do that, so to speak, right? So, I think at this point, the one thing we can all do is go within. Really also make an intention to begin to really understand how you are navigating through this life by going within. To really get behind this evolution, to participate in whatever way you can. As I mentioned before, if you're interested in participating by having a conversation with me about, your life story, your life's journey, how you've been doing or where you're at, could we just bring it down to everyday conversations about how do we get through this? If that appeals to you, then look below this video and you'll find my contact information, and click on that and let's see what we can do. Yeah, the more I'm listening to others and the more I'm getting in touch with my own self-inquiry, the more I'm realizing how important right now it is to really be awake and aware, to really move within. Nothing else really counts right now. That's what really, really matters. So go within yourself and find out what you're doing. Find out what matters. Take a look at how you can possibly learn more about how you're trying to run your life, and is it working? Are you suffering? Are you struggling Well, we all are on some degree, but can we help one another? Is there another way to help one another? More questions for sure than answers, right? So in the meantime, if you did like this video, please click like. Hope you'll subscribe if you haven't yet to my channel. And please leave a comment. That's another place that we can start to kind of create the conversations through comments. Let me know what's going on for you. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole idea of trying to move through this probably unprecedented time in history. And let's see if we can get some conversations going on that. So, in the meantime, do take care, be kind to yourself, and until next time, well, I'm going to click right off and see if I can make this thing click off once. Every time I try this, I have to click it several times. Anyway, take care till next time.